What is the theme?
The Madman and the Dictionary.
Page 6. When and where were 3 or 4 shots heard?
On Saturday, 17th February 1872, at 2 o'clock in the morning, a policeman heard 3 or perhaps 4 shots as he patrolled his Lambeth Marsh bit in London.
What is the policeman's name?
His name was Henry Tarrant, and
What is Lambeth like?
Lambeth was one of the nastiest parts of London in those days.
What is the area like?
It was an area of dirty, smelly factories and the poorest of poor slums.
Okay. Who did the police officer?
He found a dying man who lay there on the street bleeding to death, and the man's name was George Merritt.
So, who was that man?
It's George Merritt.
What kind of man was
He was a stocker at the nearby Red Lion Brewery.
What did Merritt see when he turned around at the loud call?
He said from behind him.
What did Merritt see when he turned around at the loud call?
He saw a strange man.
Did that stranger shoot Merritt?
Yes, he should Merritt.
Who was William Chester Minor?
He is the murderer who killed Merritt.
So who was he? So how old was he, or what was he? Things like that.
William Chester Minor was 37 years old and a former army officer. He was also a surgeon and an American, not an Englishman.
What was he holding in his hand when Officer Tarrant ran up to him?
He stood there with the murder weapon in his hand as Officer Tarrant ran up to him.
Did Minor say he had just fired?
Yes, he said. He just fired.
Page 10. What has Minor complained about?
He had complained to Scotland Yard that men were coming into his rooms at night and trying to poison him.
What happened at the night of murder according to Minor?
He said that he awoke on the night of the murder to find a strange man standing at the foot of his bed, and he reached under his pillow for the gun he kept there. But the stranger ran out of the house. Minor followed him and saw a man running down Belvedere Road. He shouted that what he saw was the intruder. The man did not stop. Minor then raised his gun and fired.
How did his trial go?
Pardon?
How did his trial go?
Minor says through his trial an unhappy, ashamed man.
그러니까 어떻게 결정이 났?
At the end of it, he was found legally innocent of murder by reason of insanity.
Where was Minor condemned to be held?
He was condemned to be held in permanent custody as a certified criminal lunatic.
Okay, next page. Is Minor treated differently than usual murderer in his prison?
Yes, he treated very differently than the usual murder. He was permitted 2 rooms in his prison and was able to bring in his collection of books and to add to it steadily. He was permitted considerable freedom to walk about the prison grounds, and even was permitted to hire one of the other prisoners to help him take care of his books and his room.
What did Minor find?
Minor found in one of the books or among the papers he had gathered for his library a 4-page letter which described a great new project to produce a huge new English dictionary.
What did the project?
It requested volunteer readers to check books for vocabulary and the use of each item of vocabulary.
Page 14. What kind of dictionary did Dr. Trench propose?
He proposed a dictionary which would include every word in the English language plus quotations to indicate their use.
Who was the first editor?
The first editor was Herbert Coleridge.
How many slips did Coleridge expect when he proposed the volunteer readers and slips of paper idea?
And Coleridge thought he would receive between 60,000 and 100,000 such slips.
But
actually, by the time the project had been completed, over 6 million slips had been submitted.
How long did it take for the first volume of dictionary to be on the market?
It took 12 years.
Okay, next page. Who was the next editor?
The next editor was James Murray.
How many slips had the mysterious contributor provided for Murray?
For at the final count, he had provided over 10,000 of those little slips which contained the words and definitions to be included in the dictionary.
Who was the mysterious contributor?
It was Miner.
Okay, page 18. Who invented this story? Was it you?
It's said that this story was invented by an American writer who published the story of Dr. Miner in Oxford English Dictionary.
Okay, had Murray expected to visit an insane asylum?
No, Murray certainly had not expected to visit an insane asylum.
Okay. Did Murray and Miner remain friends?
Yes, regardless, the two men remained friends for many years until Murray died.